So something that was brought up in comments in the last video, in the video itself, I briefly mentioned a situation where you're going down in an airplane. One air parachute is there. It's you and Bill Gates. Who gets the parachute? Bill Gates does, because he's richer, and it's kind of this analogy to explain entitlements within a capitalist society. I've used this idea before in past videos, but I bring it back up again, and it always seems to catch a little bit of controversy. The notion supporting it is that, well, Bill Gates has contributed much more to society than you or I, being normal people. And then the point that I bring up, and I seem to have caught some positive feedback from it, is why do we have to reward these people beyond having them live in the world, or what do we owe these people, I guess, is the answer. What do we owe these people more than living in the world where their technologies or their inventions, their ingenuities become ubiquitous and are in the society itself? So in the example of Bill Gates, you know, for him to be in a garage and to work on computers and then to make a personal computer, and now he lives in a world where personal computers are everywhere and it makes his life a whole lot easier, why is that not enough? Why do then we have to layer on top of that greater access to all the other things we've already made? You know, and Bill Gates might not be the best example, because he's sort of a loose cannon. I'm not really sure what the public thinks of Bill Gates. But if you think of someone like Steve Jobs, who I think has at least a more general, in a general note, a more positive rapport with the world, especially now the poor man's passed away. When he was tinkering with his computers in his basement or his garage or whatever, do you think he was sitting there like rubbing his hands saying, oh, when I get this, I'll be able to ride first class in American Airlines every time I go on the airplane? Probably not. You know, he was looking for, he had a problem in the world. He saw a problem. He wanted to change it. He was looking to make the change. And that's fantastic. And I mean, that's really the one. Okay, so it really touches on a few things. One, it's an example of motivation, of problem solving as a motivation that is not necessarily money driven. Certainly, today we are definitely influenced by money, because that's the way that we get shit in our world. But in spite of that, there are still situations and examples where people act positively to improve society without money being the primary aspiration or the primary motivation. Interesting. And I guess that's what I'm really getting at, is that, and in the art, if another article is to be written, it's to then draw upon the psychological research on it's basically situations, it's motivation research, where in a company you can have an employee and you can motivate their behavior with money only so far. And once you give them so much money, money starts to drop off as a motivator. That is to say that it kind of does this like up plateaus and then falls as a form of motivation the more money you give them. What replaces money, it seems to be, is influence over their system. They want to be able to create and build and input into the system, whether it's just ideas into policy or full-on engineering projects like something you might find at Apple or Microsoft. And I find that very interesting, because it supposes that, well, money isn't the end-all and be-all of human motivation, that we are actually interested in making the world a better place. Because why? Why? And this I do touch on in the article. The selfish gene that, Dawkins really popularized, and it wasn't his idea, so let's just make that perfectly clear. He stole it from someone else. I'm pretty sure he makes that point in his book. If he doesn't, shame on him. But anyway, the notion of the selfish gene, which he popularized, and I forget the gentleman's name who actually came up with it, is expressed in certain situations as really socially constructive and positive ways. That is to say that even though it's selfish, doesn't necessarily mean that we're all going to, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, this sort of Hobbesian, life is nasty, brutish, and short sort of a thing, but rather because we are genetic creatures who have cultural, but social predispositions. That sense of selfishness is expressed in collaborative, cooperative, ways. That is to say that it is selfish of me to try to improve the world, to try to get ideas out and try to challenge people to think and challenge their own beliefs, because if you start contributing to the world in a better way, then I benefit from it, and vice versa, you see. So ultimately it is selfish, but in a very unique, collaborative sort of a way. It's all very positive. I mean, it allows us both to be engaged and benefit mutually, without subjugating either of us, without backstabbing either of us, without being in this dog-eat-dog bullshit world. I don't really believe the world is like that, at least not the human world. You know, humans are interested in helping each other. We just are. We just are. Why? Because it helps us. And, I mean, that could be romantic, could not be. I find it fascinating because what I think intuitively we would come to is say, oh, we're selfish. Oh, you know, we'll eat our brother if we got hungry enough. And perhaps we would. But kept in a certain amount of balance, certain amount of homeostasis, if you will, mankind is incredibly social. And being social means that we are cooperative, that we are collaborative, that we have an innate reward in social organization. And that is really the foundation for an alternate paradigm of motivation that would replace money, that would replace entrepreneurialism. The sense that you as a person, you as just who you are, you don't have to become something else. You don't have to strive to go, oh, be more bullheaded, you know, go be an entrepreneur. No, just to be who you are. Be that which is already within you, that you want to help. You want to help the world. Do you talk to anyone, any one of you that's listening to this right now that is in your first year of college? Tell me, why do you want to learn what you want to learn? And if your answer is not because I want to help the world, then you're full of shit, because that's why everyone goes to college. I mean, unless, you know, the bad guys got to you first and they, you know, you're in college just to get a better job. Most people, when they submit their little essays, when, you know, they're going into school, why should you do this? You know, why do you want to do this? Well, their reason is because I want to help people. You want to be a nurse? Why? So I make a lot of money and I can ride first class on American Airlines? No, because I want to help people. You want to be in law? So I can make a lot of money and be in first class in American? No. You see what I'm saying here? People are naturally cooperative. There is a intuitive, and I say that word again, maybe it is, all right, fine, innate reward in social interaction. And that's the bedrock of a new and better society. That's what I'm advocating in the paper. That's what I'm advocating in these videos, and that's what I want people to join me in.